Students, we have already completed this chapter, but let us revise what is the fundamental unit of life. As you all know, it is cell. Okay. Now here, while examining a thin slice of cork, Robert Hooke saw that the cork resembled the structure of a honeycomb consisting of many little compartments. Now this you have learned in your 8th standard, that the discovery of the cell was done by Robert Hooke. Okay. And what he observed? He observed small compartments, and he called those compartments as little room, right? Now here it appeared as a honeycomb structure, and he observed that cork means you're talking about the dead part. Okay, so he observed it under a primitive type of microscope, and he called each compartment as a little room, and later on it was termed as a cell. He discovered cell in the year 1665. Okay, Robert Hooke called these boxes cells. Cell is a Latin word for a little room. Now the next question arises here is, what are living organisms made up of? Now as you all know, living organisms are made up of cell, right? Now the cell can be either unicellular or multicellular. Organisms which are made up of one cell, we call them as unicellular. The organisms which are made up of more than one cell is called as multicellular organisms. Now here in this slide you can see the image of the scientist Robert Hooke. Cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He observed a thin slice of cork under his self-designed microscope. It was a primitive type of microscope. The slice of cork resembled the structure of the honeycomb, consisting of small compartments. He named these compartments as cells. Okay. See here the primitive type of microscope under which Robert Hooke observed the cork or bark of the tree, and he observed the thin slice of it, because thick slice you cannot observe under a microscope. For observation you need to have thin slice, very thin, then only you can observe the internal structure of the cell. You can see here cork comes from the bark of the tree. Okay, it is used in many chemical bottles also. In chemistry lab it is also used in champagne bottles, the cap of the bottle. Here it looks like honeycomb structure. Can you see this benzene like structure? This is honeycomb, and here you can see honeybees also. That is not to be observed. Here you observe this each compartment, and each compartment was called as cells. Now you can see in this slide unicellular organisms, amoeba and chlamydomonas. These organisms are made up of only one cell. Okay, and this one cell is able to carry out all the functions. So this is a real picture of chlamydomonas. You can see here these are the flagellas. Okay, and this one cell, this is also amoeba, also one cell. You can see these animals and plants are made up of more than one cell. Now if you come to page number 58, what are these structures? These structures look similar to each other. Together they form a big structure like an onion bulb. We find from this activity that onion bulbs of different sizes. Now if I talk about onion bulb, if I talk about elephant, now onion, small size onion and the big size onion here, the number of cells will be more, or the cell size will be more? Can anyone tell me? The cell size will be more or the number of cells will be more? Yes, very good. Definitely the number of cells will be more. The cell size will remain the same. The cells of the onion peel will all look the same regardless of the size of the onion they came from. These small structures that we see are the basic building units of the onion bulb. These structures are called cells. Not only onions, but all organisms that we observe around are made up of cells. However, there are also single cells that live on their own. Now come to this yellow box, orange box. Okay, more to know. Please underline this. Is very important 1 mark question. Cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He observed the cells in a cork slice with the help of a primitive microscope. Leeuwenhoek, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, in 1674 with the improved microscope discovered the free living cells. Remember, Robert Hooke observed the dead cells. Leeuwenhoek, Anton von Leeuwenhoek observed the living cells in pond water for the first time. Then we have one more scientist, Robert Brown, in 1831, who discovered the nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. Then we studied about the cell theory. The cell theory was given by Sheldon and Schwann. So he said that all the plants and animals are composed of cells, and that the cells is the basic unit of life. Later on, this theory was expanded by Rudolf Virchow, suggesting that all cells arise from pre-existing cells. With the discovery of the electron microscope, the most developed one, in 1940, it was possible to observe and understand the complex structure of the cell and its various organelles. Okay, so this we have done. You must have read it also. Next, moving on ahead, if you see the shape of the cell, the size of the cell, it varies. You can see in this slide, it is varying: nerve cell, fat cell, bone cell, sperm, blood cell, ovum. Now these diagrams are given on page number 58 only, figure 5.3. So here these are made up of one cell only, but they have different shape and different function, right? So accordingly here the shape and function is given, but they are having one cell only. You can see here the basic structural components of the cell. You can see here this is the nucleus, chloroplast, as we are talking about the plant cell, mitochondria you will find in animals and plant cell both, ribosomes all over the cell, scattered all over the cell. Okay, it is also present on the endoplasmic reticulum, and we call them as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Then we have here cell membrane, cell wall they have not mentioned, Golgi body. A cell is the smallest unit that is capable of performing life functions. You see here the shape and size of cells are related to the specific function they perform. Each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions. Cell contains a specific component called cell organelles. Each kind of cell organelle perform a special function. All cells are found to have the same organelles irrespective of their function and which organism they are found in. Okay, all the cells will be having same organelles. The difference will be only in plant and animal cell. Okay. The shape and size of cells. Please come to page number 59. The shape and size of cells are related to the specific function they perform. Some cells like amoeba have changing shapes. In some cases, the cell shape could be more or less fixed and peculiar for a particular type of cell. For example, nerve cells have a typical shape. You have already seen in the previous slide. Each living cell has the capacity to perform certain basic functions that are characteristics of all living forms. Next, we know that there is a division of labor in multicellular organism. Now the question arises here that a single cell, amoeba, is made up of only one cell. That single cell is able to perform nutrition, respiration, transportation and excretion. Whereas if I talk about a multicellular organism which is made up of more than one cell, right, they have division of labor, right. If I talk about the digestive system here is going to take in the food, it is going to digest it, it is going to extract the nutrients out of it, and it's going to provide nutrient to every cell of your body. If I talk about respiration, it is going to extract oxygen from the lungs, and then it is going to provide every cell of your body. That means they are specialized to carry out a particular function. They have division of labor. If a building is to be constructed, in particular time. Now here, if division of labor is not there, the same building can be constructed with 1 or 2 labor, maybe 5 labors here. It will take lot of time and the efficiency of the person will be less. Whereas if you divide the work will be quick, and here efficiency of the person will also be more. So here unicellular organisms, they are going to carry out their own function, whereas multicellular organisms, they are also going to carry out their own function, but they have division of labor, so their efficiency is more. Now here, if you see the question, who discovered cells and how, you must have written the answer. Next question, why is the cell called the structural and functional unit of life? Now this here we have discussed in tissues chapter, just recollect. Cells, they form the basic organism. Cells join to form tissues. Tissues join to form organs. Organs join to form organ system, and organ system joins to form an organism. So this is the structural unit, and here they will be performing a particular function, either digestion, either respiration, either excretion, clearing up the waste, transportation and so on. So that's the functional unit. So you have to talk about the functional part as well as the structural part. Moving ahead, what is cell made up of? What is the structural organization of a cell? Now this we will study. You can see here on the slide, it is the outermost covering of the cell that separates the content of the cell from the external environment. Just imagine if this cell membrane or plasma membrane is not there, what will happen to the inner content? No shape will be there. The inner content of the cell will be mixed with the water, mixed with this liquid, and it is not going to serve any purpose. If there is a membrane, it allows the entry and exit of materials in and out of the cell. It also prevents the movement of some other material and is therefore called a selectively permeable membrane. Remember students here, it's selectively permeable. Why selectively? Because it allows the entry and exit of some substances. It will not allow anything and everything to enter. If a person knocks at the door, first of all you check whether that person that person or not, right? Whether your parents know your person, whether he or she is a known person, unknown person, at least he'll be giving you some address, right? So here you will not open the door until and unless you know the person. In the same way here, this plasma membrane or cell membrane will not allow anything and everything to enter. It's selectively permeable membrane. It will allow only selected things to enter and selected things to leave. Now if you see, the plasma membrane is flexible and is made up of organic molecules like proteins and lipids. So children, we have completed the introduction of the chapter. Then we have completed what are these structures, who discovered what. Just remember it, all these, so that you are ready for your 1 mark question. And then here we studied about the different cells of the human body. I hope you have drawn the diagram. If you have not drawn, please draw the diagram, figure 5.3 in your notebook. Do these 2 in-text questions. I know you have already completed it, but still those who have not done, I am still giving you time, please do it. Then we completed with the what is cell made up of. Here we have only started with the plasma membrane or cell membrane, its function. In the next class, we'll study here how amoeba is able to do respiration, what is hypotonic solution, hypertonic and isotonic solution, and then how unicellular organisms will be able to take in water, what are the methods, diffusion, osmosis, what is the composition of cell wall, nucleus. Till there we will study, and maybe we'll include cytoplasm also. Okay, so be ready children for the next class.